What is the weirdest thing you've ever found at a thrift store? Charity shop? So I actually am a full-time employee at a thrift store. So many of our star candidates. Dildo gag. Stuffed taxidermied cat, like a family pet. Bondage tables. Vacuum beds. Humane horse killer pistol. Tube gun. A wedding dress, engagement ring, etc. Filing cabinets including sensitive documents, it all gets shredded. A flight compass from an airplane. Someone just randomly dropped off like $10,000 worth of size 24 women's pants, all with tags still on. We distributed them with other stores to bolster all size sections. Human parts in a jar, we think tonsils. At least, we hope. A print of Bold and Brash, which is now in a sorter's cubicle. Probably 150 pounds of expired oatmeal. An Apple Lisa II, now owned by yours truly. Like 300 Snapple caps with the facts on them. I'm only on break now, I will update with more as I get time, but basically, well, I was looking for suits as I usually do. I saw a nice black one that was too big for me though. I noticed there was something shiny on the lapel. A pin. Thought. I reached to take it and examine the lapel pin. It was a bronze circle with a naked woman figure in the middle with long hair. Not the ugly type either. Very well sculpted. The precision and contours like that of a modern coin. As a 17-year-old teen back then, I was dick-headed horny fucker, so I asked the shopkeeper if I could buy it alone without the jacket. Since we were already in friendly terms because I frequented their shop, she let me take it for free. A fake plastic fruit Christmas tree. Yes, I got it. A lot of people have found butt plugs. Exhibit A. https://www.reddit.com/r/tihi/x7xane/thanks_I_goodwill_but_plug/ Exhibit B. https://www.reddit.com/r/trashy/comments/12803/I_under_found_eggs_at_goodwill/ Exhibit C. https://www.reddit.com//qzbffv/but_plug_I_found_earlier_this_year/ A bag of used condoms branded as party balloons for $2.99. I don't know if this is weird, but I found an old tray for 99p. Looked handmade, in a type of wood I couldn't figure out. It has initials on the bottom and Gary. Then I read about Gary, tiny brass whistle with "Stop, Thief" inscribed on it. Disappointingly, it was not very loud. I found a diary by a woman written in the 1930s. This was in the 80s. I thought I had found the diary of Anne Frank. As it turned out, nobody wanted it. I eventually donated to the local library, but it never showed up on any shelf. No 2 cents for your thoughts. Mein Kampf. It was in Ireland and it was a translated version, but still, as a German, that was fucking weird to see. Water bottles full of urine. For sale? Boxes of soap, and someone stole the soap. Coolest thing? A gold record. An obscure TV show box set that I sold for $200. My husband and I like to go into thrift shops just to look around. There's one Goodwill a couple towns over that we've just stopped going to because it always seems so depressing. I get the feeling that people have been clearing out the houses of semi-distant relatives who have died, and they literally just throw everything into boxes and donate it to Goodwill. And this place puts all of it out on the shelves to sell. Like we found open, partially empty boxes of Kleenex tagged and placed out for sale. Or a box for a salt and pepper shaker set, not the actual shaker set, Just the empty, flimsy cardboard box. Old, worn washcloths with stains on them. It's the only Goodwill I've ever been to that has put actual trash out on the shelves, and it's really weird. Found a really murky snow globe of the Twin Towers. It was just the towers and a car parked in front of it. The liquid inside was a faded dark green gray-orange. This was in 2010. Straight-up chastity belt, complete with a lock and key. I don't think the owners of the place knew what it was, as when I pointed it out to them they immediately removed it from the floor. This was a charity shop, so I can imagine some girl getting rid of all her ex's stuff in some garbage bag. An original Bob Ross painting for $10. It even had the red Ross on it. It was a fake, a half-eaten Dorito chip under a hat, an open box of yeast infection treatment with at least one of the suppositories missing. Those cottage country poker scenes made from tin and clam shells. Example: https://hsseashells.com/poker-players-figurine. 30 copies of Top Gun on VHS. In 2016, a 1930s-era motorcycle tail light, nib. It was specifically an oddity shop, so this feels a bit like cheating, but I've seen numerous Victorian-era human hair bracelets, brooches, etc. at several locations. Somehow that always strikes me as even stranger than human skulls, mutant animal fetuses in jars, and the other death-related items. I think it's the highly personal aspect of it that really gets to me. These were people who died and whose loved ones made an intimate memento to mourn them with. I don't judge the shops for having them or people for buying them, but those kind of items always feel weirdest to me, even as someone with a love for dark history and macabre artifacts. Brown recluse spider, hiding in a bag of donations, when I was working for Goodwill. Bite on big toe. Permanent necrosis. A collection of old as fuck revolvers. Guns these old, they were pre-1898, aren't regulated the same as more modern firearms, so them being sold is entirely legal. They're also expensive as shit and are either black powder or in a caliber that is unobtainium at this point, .32 rimfire. So couple that with age and these things are less lethal weapons and more. Hang that on the wall above the fireplace. It was still really cool to see those as I'm a weapons nerd. A rubber Obama head. My Tetris lamp. My mom gave it away. Ever hear of a coffin plate? I bought a suit coat at a thrift store and later found a receipt from a prison in the breast pocket. It listed the coat and a few other items the previous owner must have had on him when he was incarcerated. A full lingerie set bundled with a flogger and fake handcuffs and desk I took to the dump. I found it at Goodwill. The scarf that I knitted for my spouse, sad pensive face. My friend and I found a shisha and a snooze but didn't try it. A glass display case filled with baby doll heads, flanked by excellently painted pictures of cows. A prototype of the video game's S's on the NES. I found it in a Goodwill around 2013. Not that weird but still pretty cool. My husband and I once found a large framed photograph of the plane going in to hit the second tower on 9/11. When I worked at Goodwill, a group of college kids dropped off a giant trunk full of barely legals. They asked me, 16-year-old girl at the time, and my coworker Daisy, who was 60, to help them unload it from the back of the truck. When it tipped over and they spilled out, the guys drove away and Daisy shook her head and said, "Shameful, shameful." This one's less weird and more revolting, but one time I was at Goodwill trying on jackets. I tried one I liked on, but as I put my arm through the right sleeve, I felt it push past a scratchy object. After wearing it for a minute to test the size, I took it off and looked in the sleeve to see what was scratchy. There was a dead, mummified mouse in the sleeve. The jacket must have been in a closet or storage and the mouse had died in there and nobody had inspected it before hanging it on the racks. I gave it to an employee and got TF out of there. On the same day, I found a white water bottle with Mrs. in fancy script at a local thrift shop, and the matching black water bottle with Mr. at the Goodwill across town. My theory is their separate love of competing thrift stores led to their divorce. An Indian chief headdress that was next to a fraternity paddle and a book on shibari. I don't know what was going on in that thrift shop lol. An old wooden paddle with KKK engraved on it. A homemade, concrete, hand-painted killer rabbit from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. A Type V remote power control module. https://i.imgur.com/4xwsn7m.jpg for the International Space Station. An entire selection of wetsuits, around 6, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I found a fish and tackle box that would have been useful for one of my hobbies. When I opened it up to inspect it, I found some used ampules. https://www.manufacturingchemist.com/article-image-alias/single-dose-piece-ampoule-increased-patient.jpg, and some bloody gauze. Looked like the prior owner used it as a vaccination or first aid kit. I closed it and brought it up to the front desk for the staff to deal with. I found an entire selection of dildos and female pleasure devices, while looks for bike parts. A life-size statue of Humphrey Bogart. I would have bought it, but it was $200 and I was a broke college student at the time, so it might as well have been $2 million. Anatomically correct Buddha statue. I went to try on a pair of leggings and found a pair of underwear still inside. Ooh. Did not buy. Victorian-era abortion tools. No joke. My friend forgot to buy a gift for his girlfriend's birthday on the way home back from a road trip, and we stopped at a Salvation Army. He opted to buy a signed, framed Vin Diesel photo in a frame, the kind you have of your child's school photo in the entryway to your house. I don't know if it's a real signature or not, but that's beside the point. We both thought it was an incredible gift. Needless to say, she was not happy about the gift. A dildo. In addition to the usual weirdness of sex toys and personal documents that ended up in the thrift store I worked at, we once got a massive donation of nipple rings. Hundreds of them in a big plastic container. All unopened. Came with a display rack even. I guess someone had a small jewelry business or something and the nipple rings weren't selling. Late to this thread, but once found human remains at a thrift store, was just browsing through the dishes and kitchen utensils and came across a bag of ashes. Didn't realize what it was at first, but the bag had a tag with the name of a mortuary on it. Hoped it was ashes for a pet or something, but the bag seemed way too big for it to just be a large dog. A bright pink silk shirt with big red kiss patterns all over it. Baby teeth. A t-shirt with an anime girl Susie licking a popsicle. I got a real white gold and diamond ring and platinum and diamond earrings. Each were $9.99. I posted them on a thrift store site and a lady said the earrings were real as she had a similar pair. I am taking them in to be appraised. So, I work in a jail, which receives donated clothing and shoes for released inmates whose clothes were ruined by blood feces. The donations come from Goodwill, who usually gets whatever value Village has had on racks but didn't sell for months on end. If it doesn't sell at Goodwill, it goes to jail. Years and years ago I donated some old dress shoes that were in decent condition but had some very specific markings on them. One day last year, I went to grab an inmate a pair of shoes from donations, and at the top of the pile were my old dress shoes, that didn't sell anywhere else, and earn a casket. If I had the $600 for it, my wife would have turned it into a bed. I bought an absolutely massive video matrix router. It was the biggest Extron sold at the time if I'm remembering correctly. 64 inputs, 64 outputs, Ethernet controlled. That's how I came to have a $53,000 video router wired to a ton of video stuff in my parents' house. It stands out to me as odd for several reasons. It was $108. No clue how they picked that price. It was 22 rack spaces tall and weighed a lot. I got it home on public transit. I'm fairly certain it's still in their basement. This was in 2008 when HD video was still cutting edge and very expensive, especially at that scale. My guess is someone stole it and ditched it at a thrift shop, who just slapped a price on it and didn't give it a second thought. Over the years I found other, similar things. A statue of a Santa turned around showing his bare ass as he slapped it, and Among Us plus high next to the unicorns.